Kyle Schwarber, he went 3 for 3 in the swing off, got the National League the win.
Trick. Look out, Chop House. National League takes the lead 4-3.
Wouldn't it be interesting if they employed this into like the regular season?
That's what baseball should be. Just that. Everything else is so boring.
Slippery slope, because there are some weird rules in some other leagues, all right? Let's talk specifically here about the CFL.
Fargo win. Aralao heading left. Missed it, heads out, but it's a single point, and it doesn't matter.
It's like a rule you make up at recess. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
okay, no, it's like next point wins. Do you worry that if our hypothetical scenarios here actually get employed into real season games, it would run into something like this?
I know there are a lot of socialist mechanisms up in that country, and this is just one of them. Hey, how about we pay you and reward you for not doing your job?
Great take. So Canadian. Oh, you didn't
That's
have
so
any
funny.
success, but you know what? Here, we're going to give you UBP, Universal Basic Points. Pretty awesome event down there in Atlanta. Scottie Scheffler dropping a lot of wisdom, saying this is going viral.
It feels like you work your whole life to celebrate winning a tournament for like a few minutes. I love the challenge. I love being able to play this game for a living. It's one of the greatest joys of my life, but does it fill the deepest wants and desires of my heart? Absolutely not. If my golf ever started affecting my home life or ever affected the relationship I have with my wife, with my son, that's gonna be the last day that I play out here for a living. This is not the be all end all. This is not the most important thing in my life. That's why I wrestle with why is this so important to me, because I'd much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer. That's what's more important to me. Having that sense of accomplishment from winning the Masters tournament, from winning the PGA Championship, I have a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for it. I love being able to come here and play golf and compete. But at the end of the day, it's just not what satisfies me.
This is a huge win, I think, for fathers. The thing that's most important in this world, it's family, providing for them, it's faith. That's just a great message to hear from a guy at the top of his sport.
Let's start off with America's pastime, baseball. Okay, obviously the MLB All-Star Game, and it was actually quite interesting. Okay, American League versus National League, and the American League jumped out. I think they were up 6-0, right? And then the National League in the final, in the 9th inning, came back, tied it up. And then what's interesting is they had to go into the first ever All-Star Game swing off, which is almost like the PK equivalent to baseball. Let's take a little look here at the swing off for the win.
Get out.
With the hat trick.
Get
Look
out.
out, Chop House. National League takes the lead 4-3.
Kyle Schwarber, he went 3 for 3 in the swing off, got the National League the win. But excuse me, this is super interesting because we've been talking about sort of little interesting wrinkles that we can throw into other sports. I came up with my genius idea with soccer of adding a PK segment at the end of each half. Genius idea. Genius idea. Exciting, unique, high stakes. Then we've got the swing off that they did here in the MLB All-Star Game. Wouldn't it be interesting if they employed this into like the regular season, or we saw this more? What do you guys think?
That's what baseball should be. Just that. Everything else is so boring. Baseball is a game of downtime. It's so much downtime. And it's one of the only sports where the announcers are constantly having to come up with other things to talk about other than the sport itself, because there's so much downtime. Just have it be this.
I think golf has something to say to you, Mike. Golf's got a lot.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Dang it, that's fair.
Yeah.
Right?
At least, look, I think this is insane that of the pro leagues, the MLB has been notorious for probably being the slowest to make moves and adjust to, call it, new age consumption, viewer consumption. Like, I think this is a great addition for the All-Star Game. It's a great case study. They can go ahead and test it here in this scenario, add some juice. We were talking about the home run derby the other day. Kyle Raleigh taking the win, big dumper, doing all that kind of stuff. This is infusing the energy that comes from that event and putting it into the All-Star Game. I also think it's probably good too, because extra innings, while they're great for the purist, in an All-Star Game, that's not necessary. Like, we just need a winner so we can move forward and get back into the season. So this was a great move by the MLB. It'd be interesting to see if they implement it into the season. But like I said, it takes forever for them to make changes like they did with the pitch clock.
Two things. One, I've never heard somebody say the word necessary with that emphasis. Necessary. That was very interesting, Scott. Very interesting pronunciation of necessary. How unique of you. Okay, very good emphasis. Secondly, I'm with you on that. It's something about baseball kind of being it's America's pastime. There's so much tradition in this sport. It goes way, way back. It's kind of the sport back in the day, and people used to, that's why there's 160 games. People used to follow it like a soap opera. And so it is very traditional, and they are slower to make some of these adjustments. But you got to give props to them for what they have done, like with the pitch clock and shortening the games. And it has resulted in increased viewership and I think also attendance, at least for some teams. But okay, so we're talking about if you implement something like this in the regular season. It is, and I love bringing this up, slippery slope, because there are some weird rules in some other leagues. All right, let's talk specifically here about the CFL, where they have this wild, weird rule where if you miss a field goal through the back of the end zone, you still get a point. So check this out. This guy misses a field goal and then celebrates in the CFL because they win.
The walk-off Argo win. Iralau heading left. Missed it, heads out, but it's a single point, and it doesn't matter. The walk-off Argo.
There's something just wholly unnatural about the guy getting to celebrate after missing the field goal due to this weird. It's like a rule you make up at recess. It's like, okay, it's like next point wins. It's got that element to it. Do you worry that if our hypothetical scenarios are actually get employed into real season games, it would run into something like this?
I know there are a lot of socialist mechanisms up in that country, and this is just one of them. Hey, how about we pay you and reward you for not doing your job?
Great take. So Canadian. Oh, you didn't have
so
any
funny.
success, but you know what? Here, we're going to give you UBP, Universal Basic Points, for everybody in the game, and you're going to get a participation trophy because you kicked the ball hard, but you didn't get it in the uprights, but you tried.
This is like giving a quarterback a reception or a completion after the ball was bobbled and it fell to the ground. Like, what are we doing here? Like, give him 3 yards because it was a good try.
It's close. Like you hit a receiver right in the face mask. He drops it. And it's like, oh, that's actually worth 5 yards. Shut up, Canada. All right, take that. That's all I would worry about with that. But what were you saying?
I know on this show we're not necessarily the biggest of baseball fans, but like when we do dive into it, there's a massive iceberg underneath the surface of like what we know and the fandom underneath the surface. Like in America, it is the country's pastime. It's one of those sports that's at the heartbeat of what it means to be American. Right. And there's a methodic nature to it. It doesn't have the ground and pound, like big explosive plays necessarily like football does, or maybe even basketball with the dunks and the way in which the sport is going and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the MLB has this methodic nature to it. There's strategy to it that's to just the average viewer you don't understand. And we've talked about this before. There's a reason why it also has this mass appeal across international countries, specifically Japan. There are so many elements to this game that lead up to the singular moment of a singular pitch. How in which you go ahead and attack it or choose not to. Like there's strategy to this that's very akin to like chess, I would say. In this day and age, with the average viewer having an attention span of a freaking ant, it's tough to like sell, but I still think this is very much America's sport.
Don't disrespect the attention span of ants. Have you ever seen them attack a task as a unit? Ants
Good point.
A great attention span. They have the opposite of ADD. They have the opposite. Here's another thing about baseball that I think is actually very, very cool is in football, if you have the lead in the fourth quarter, you can run the clock out. You can take a knee and not give the opponent another chance. In baseball, you have to throw the ball across the plate all the way up until the end of the game. You have to give the other man his chance. And so you can always have that all the way up until the end. It is actually kind of a beautiful thing about baseball that you can't really run out the clock like that. You have to continue the game and go all the way to the bottom of the ninth. There's something to that, don't you think?
I think the only caveat to that is the workaround is people intentionally walking others, which I think I think that's a terrible part of the game. We saw that in the Royd era, back in the heyday when dudes were hitting 300 plus just on average.
Speaking of, look at that tweet right there. For those just listening, it says what blows my mind is the batting averages. Last year, only 12 guys even hit above 300, and they barely did it. Baseball was so much better 20 years ago. Because I don't know, you had a lot of guys hitting in the 300s back in the day, back in like the steroid era, didn't we?
Yeah, because the pitches were 45 miles an hour.
No. If you scroll up, you see dudes. I mean, this was back in the era of like Kurt Schilling, the big unit.
Here we go.
Dudes were throwing 100 plus. Like,
I wonder. Really?
Yeah, dude, this was like early 2000s. You were alive.
Barely.
Look
at these batting averages.
I didn't have consciousness till 2016.
355, and then he lost it. And then you know what's also cool is what I love is in the MLB All-Star Game, the guys wear their actual team uniforms. That's a cool thing. Like we used to have that in the NBA All-Star Game, where the guys would do it. You just wear your home or away. So you had the dark colored jerseys, but you're wearing your home jersey, and then all the other guys are wearing their white jerseys. Something really, really cool and special about that. I do love that the MLB All-Star Game keeps with that tradition. And also, like this All-Star Game was the best out of all of the big three sports. I mean, in recent years, like this was actually fun to watch.
Yeah. This one ended in it's like an oxymoron to say this one ended in a nail biter because we've gotten so used to these all-star breaks or, Pro Bowls being just absolute lukewarm. We talked about it last episode. Like the Pro Bowl is a carnival now. That's all it is. There's no football really involved. It's all about, hey, how big of sunglasses can I wear and how many social media posts can I get out of this? That's pretty much it. So I love the fact that MLB embraced this, is changing things up just enough to keep interest.
Yeah, you got to keep that tradition, but also tweak a little bit. Speaking of baseball, one last thing on baseball. You usually see a guy who's 6'11" playing basketball, but Jason Reitz from Oregon is 6'11", 215 pounds. He looks like a cartoon guy. He looks like two guys from the Little Rascals on top of each other wearing stilts. 6'11", 250. I mean, very, very thin, 215. But he's a pitcher and he's thrown 98 miles per hour. What do you think? Do you think that this height here is giving him a huge advantage in the pitching game?
I was going to say he looks very avian, kind of like storkish with the legs. So I think that's the take. But I got to imagine. So I brought up big unit. He's one of the taller pitchers to have ever pitched in the MLB. So when you think about like release point, that thing is going to be upwards of 9 feet easy. And with him being at 6'11", dude, I can only imagine that's probably approaching 10 feet. So you got to think if a ball is coming at you damn near 100 miles an hour from 10 feet and at that angle, how much more difficult is it to actually hit that ball? If you look at like umpire views and everything like that behind the plate, when you're seeing even just a 90 mile an hour, which is not nothing. Yeah. That thing coming at you, it's like your reaction time, you have to start swinging before the ball ever leaves the hand.
Interesting. So higher release point makes it much harder to hit. I never knew that was a factor in pitching.
He's getting the gravity of the earth way more involved. He's coming from up high. So you're getting the speed.
Negative 9.8 meters per second involved in pitch.
Per second, Mike. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Per second squared.
Okay. All right. Here comes the Yaley with the equation. So I do think, it's actually absolutely terrified. As you like go to the batting cages and the ball's coming out pretty much at eye level, like regular human being level. I think if you put it up there at 6'11", and if his release is anywhere up there, I mean, that's just absolutely terrifying.
Why don't they have that machine at the batting cages to adjust the release height of the machine? It all comes out level, everything I've seen.
They're going to have to adjust for these lanky pitchers entering in.
It's like you're getting sniped by the pitcher at that point. Just everything coming from above. Changing the angle. That's why submarine pitchers, those who can do it really well, are also very effective because that's changing the angle and trajectory of the ball. Granted, that's coming from the complete opposite. 3 inches from the ground.
What does that mean? Submarine pitcher? What is that?
When you throw like really low, like sidearm, like really low.
Yeah, it's like guys throw. It's not underhand per se, but like the way in which they pitch, they're bending. Their hinge point is at the hips, and they're getting like parallel to the ground, and the ball's coming from a super low angle.
Wow,
I wonder what pitcher has like the greatest range of ability to like throw high, like to change that angle up.
Yeah,
most drastically.
I got to imagine. I mean, I brought him up a couple times before, and he's like the hot name in pitching today is Paul Skenes, and he's not a little dude. He's I think 6'7", 250. So it's like the size of these pitchers is getting absurd. And I mean, we talked about Aaron Judge the other day in our athlete comparison or our athlete sports switch episode. Yeah. Like he's a monster. There's some big dudes that are playing baseball that probably should be playing another sport.
Yeah, well. 6'11", 215. I mean, if you want to play bat, that's like Chet Holmgren size. The giraffe, Scott, as he's going around your house.
Yeah.
All right.
This is like the willow.
Yeah. Look at you. All of your analogies. There we have it. MLB All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby. Actually, pretty awesome event down there in Atlanta. Pretty awesome, I would say. Okay, let's move on to golf. Scottie Scheffler, and this is long, okay? It's 5 minutes. We won't listen to the whole thing, but we got to listen to a good chunk of it to kind of get the gist of what he's saying. This is going viral. A bunch of people are quote tweeting it and responding to it. So let's listen to it for a little bit here.
It feels like you work your whole life to celebrate winning a tournament for like a few minutes. I love the challenge. I love being able to play this game for a living. It's one of the greatest joys of my life, but does it fill the deepest wants and desires of my heart? Absolutely not. If my golf ever started affecting my home life or ever affected the relationship I have with my wife, with my son, that's gonna be the last day that I play out here for a living. This is not the be all end all. This is not the most important thing in my life. That's why I wrestle with why is this so important to me, because I'd much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer. That's what's more important to me. Having that sense of accomplishment from winning the Masters tournament, from winning the PGA Championship, I have a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for it. I love being able to come out here and play golf and compete. But at the end of the day, it's just not what satisfies me.
Wow. Scottie Scheffler right there, dropping a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge and important perspectives on life.
This is what happens when you scroll too much on Instagram. All your dopamine and chemicals are messed up. So when actually something good happens in your life, your brain is out of all the chemicals it needs to naturally reward you, and you are disappointed with it. But also, that's what life is. That's the deal with life, is you give it everything you have, and it's just like a bad friend. The best case scenario life can give you in dedicating your life to something is a few minutes of relief and happiness and elevated emotions, and then you're back to baseline and it's gone forever. But he talks about, like, that's also part of like the beauty of sports, is that the moments are so fleeting and you have to work so insanely hard in your whole life to get these fleeting moments, and that everybody's chasing these fleeting few minutes of euphoria.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Scott?
Yeah, I think what's interesting with that, I think Mikey's hitting the nail on the head there. But I shoot for contentment, shoot for the journey, like embrace the suck, embrace the sacrifice that you put in as you're building up to those moments. And for professional athletes, it's easier said for them, because they're actually getting to compete in tournaments and do these things. But even from a non-professional athlete perspective, like, people can still have that same sort of outlook, that same sort of approach. It's all about the journey, not necessarily the destination. And in the world of NIL, in the world of all these different payment mechanisms, and in the world of personal brand building and doing all these things on social media, I get the sense that this love for the journey, and understanding that the difficulties that come with that are for others, hopefully your family, everything like that, as opposed to just egotistical, I want to be the best because I want to be the best. I get the sense that the training of the mind to find formulas and opportunities for success through extreme difficulties is starting to fade, because everybody's looking at this as just strictly looking for that happiness, which I would equate to the cash grab, coming from Scottie being at the top of his game. Yeah, it's easy to say this when you're making $5 million a weekend. But at the same time, he has the platform, because of his wins, to go ahead and make this message clear and concise, and saying, like, hey, I'm at the top of my game. The thing that's most important to me in this world, it's family, it's supporting them, it's providing for them, it's faith, all of those things. And that's just a great message to hear from a guy at the top of his sport.
Yeah. You also saw there was that famous quote from Jim Carrey, who's gotten pretty wacko in the last few years, but he had a great quote when he was given like a speech at a college. He said, I wish everybody could become rich and famous, to realize that that's not the answer in fulfillment, but it's hard to actually grasp that until you do get to the top of the mountain there, and then are able to realize that. I like what you said about the NIL stuff, because that also is creating this environment where everything is so outcome driven in the NIL. It's like, what's the outcome? How much money am I going to get here? Whereas like back in the day, college sports, it's like, really what we got in college sports is that whole process of being involved with everything. And it's like when you go on a hike, okay, and I go on a lot of hikes, okay. My wife's from the mountains. We go on hikes. You spend, 3 hours hiking up the mountain, and then you sit on top of the mountain for what? Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15, maybe you have a sandwich, you look, enjoy the view, and then you hike back down. It's not about being on top. You get a nice feeling of satisfaction for a couple minutes when you're on top of the mountain. But why you go on the hike is just the entire journey of walking up, walking down, and trying to enjoy all the little things in it. I kind of equate it to that. It is cliche, enjoy the journey. It's not about the outcome. It's all about the journey. But I think that's also kind of what Scottie's saying here is like these fleeting moments just will not keep you satisfied. And that's not what life is about. But it's such a trick, because you think that it is. You think that you accomplish this. You're like, good, got it. Put that in my belt. I'm going to feel good. And I can always check back in with that if I want to feel happy. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. It is cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason, is because they are true. They're almost so true that it's like people kind of roll their eyes because it's innate. They know this. And I feel like cliches have gotten a negative connotation because everybody thinks that they're Holden Caulfield and that they have the key to success in life and they know how to live it.
Holden Caulfield. That's funny.
So like, it's like
You're phony.
yeah, everybody's a phony. Like if you adhere to a cliche or you embrace a cliche, like Scottie is totally right in this. And like fatherhood from his perspective, especially at a young age, is not easy, dude. Talk about like going through the pitfalls. Like not only are you having to learn how to raise and protect and provide and honestly keep alive a small human, you're also having to completely change the dynamic and the way in which you approach a relationship with your wife or your spouse or anything along those lines, and trying to figure out that formula to move forward and find a way to succeed, even though it's going to be imperfect. Like this is a huge win, I think, for fathers at large. And the fact that Scottie is being the mouthpiece for that, he's having this conversation with everybody, or at least letting it be known that this is in his mind too.
Right. Okay. I have something here with the NIL with Sark in Texas. But I just want to stick on this for one more minute, because Scottie is like one of the best golfers of our generation, right? Top of his game, elite. And that was a beautiful thing that he just said, I think resonates with us here and probably with a lot of people. But do you think that you would ever hear Michael Jordan say something like this? I don't think so. I don't think so. And what Scottie has there is healthy and a good, well-rounded perspective on life as a whole. But Michael Jordan wouldn't say that. He would be like a total Michael Jordan would probably abandon his whole family to win another NBA championship. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't go that far. But what do you think about that? A totally different mentality to where that's all that matters.
I love that mentality. I love it so much. And I think that's kind of what your role is as an athlete, is because that mentality is so rare in life that people look to athletes for that kind of inspiration of like, you got to like, to win and succeed in life, you have to have some degree of psychotic drive. And you kind of look to athletes for an example of that. And when you see athletes like this, it's like, man, if he's doing that, the best competition in the world, he doesn't give a shit about it. Like, I got to go to work and just what's my motivation? Like, you look to these people for motivation, and you get athletes like him or like Luca who are like, it's just a job to me.
True.
And I think that might come from guys, I don't know, who maybe it came a little bit too easy, or they hadn't had to go through a lot of adversity, like, relatively to get to where they are. So they don't really have that kind of appreciation. These are these guys who are just born with God-given talent. And so it's like, in their mind, it's just something they've always been good at and something they've always been able to tap into to provide, because it was always an easy path.
Yeah.
Scott.
But I think there's a conflation there, is associating, which I think a lot of people have a problem with, associating your job with your worth and, anything along those lines. So like, I think it's disingenuous to say like, oh, they probably didn't face adversity or they were just given God-given talent, because like they absolutely put the time in and they've had difficulties that we may not be able to see throughout their life. And going to the MJ thing, it's like there are two sides to the same coin, right? And we always talk about like loving that athlete mindset. I absolutely love it. But it's unattainable to the average person. So it's almost more endearing of an athlete being at his prime and being the MJ of his current era to be able to come down to earth and be a normal person, which we've seen.
I think it's okay to have two different types of those athletes. I think it's great to have the Scottie that a lot of us can relate to and be like, that's a well-rounded guy who's also elite at his sport. But then it's cool to have a guy like Michael Jordan who transcends like normal humanity. It's like, that's not a regular person, dude. Like you can pick and choose things to admire about Michael Jordan. Whereas here with Scottie, I admire his game. I also admire his approach to family and life also. So we have a little bit of both. When I'm feeling crazy, I'm trying to go Michael Jordan. When I'm out there playing tennis against Matt Fay or some of you guys, I'm trying to tap into my Michael Jordan. I'm not trying to be well-rounded.
Yeah,
that was you tapping into Michael Jordan?
I won. You saw what I posted on Instagram? I beat Matt Fay at tennis, Terrell into school. But you know what? It's good to have both of those athletes in our world to look up to. All right, let's moving on from this is actually going back to what you were talking about, Scott, with the NIL stuff, because Steve Sarkisian, head coach of Texas, says he wants to recruit players who are coming for the school money. We don't talk about NIL or revenue share or publicity rights until the very end. This is what Sark said. And then we take a look at how the recruit
until the very end when the deal gets done.
How the recruits are greeted on campus at Texas as they walk up with a bunch of Lamborghinis. And you're saying, oh, you want people coming here for the culture and the school? But you've got
Well, that's part of the culture.
10 Lamborghinis. Yeah, you got that Lambo culture of Lamborghini Austin. I just find it to be kind of hypocritical here, but also that's the nature of Division I big time college football coaches is the words they say are not ever true. Ever.
Yeah,
I
so struggle to respect anything out of a Division I coach's mouth. You have to sell you have to sell a little bit part of your soul to do that job well. You just do.
And then you do.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
It's tough. Well, this goes back to my conversation about the NIL era and what Scottie was talking about. And this I think is a byproduct of what's going on right now. Like the main thing is not the main thing. Faith, family, providing for them is not the main thing. It's like, oh, I want all of the things that this pursuit brings me. All of the riches, all of the money, all of the flash. Like, okay, you got a Lambo, but like, does that translate to performance on the field at all? Like,
no, it's a distraction, actually. I think you should maximize out at like a Nissan Altima. That's what Andy. Okay, solid Nissan, cool car.
Let's get American made, dude.
Where's Nissan from?
Ford Escape. How about that?
There we
Escape.
go.
You know the Alfieri's
American car.
Fleet of 5 Ford Escapes at
I do know.
our heyday. Just rolling up 3 Ford Escapes.
What color you want today?
To the Williams house. Yeah, I'll pick you up. Ford Escape. All right. The other thing we want to talk about in golf, going off this Scottie stuff, he's a golfer, but he's also a YouTuber. Okay. It's Grant Horvat, who's got, I think, almost 2 million subscribers. He's got a golf YouTube channel. And he was invited to come participate in the Barracuda Championship this week on the PGA Tour. He decided to not join. I'll play you his actual response here, 45 seconds. He decided to not join because he couldn't bring his own crew. Here it is.
So the reason I will not be playing in a PGA Tour event is due to the rules and regulations around media rights and filming during tournament play of a PGA Tour event. And basically that means I was not going to be allowed to film my round during tournament play. Aww. And for me personally, doing YouTube for a living and wanting to document everything I do, and this is the reason we got the invite in the first place, was because of YouTube and because of the amazing experiences I get to share with you guys. But I am hopeful that sometime in the future we will be able to play in a PGA Tour event. I don't know which one it will be, maybe the Barracuda next year, and document and film the reason.
Okay, Mike, just what you said, man, our dad would really not like the way that guy talks. He'd say that's a schmarmy mouth. And it's a guy who feels very full of himself, and he lets that display through the way that he moves his mouth.
What a disgusting way to go through life, to speak that way, and nobody's ever pointed out how
I need more.
Schmarmy mouth is.
Give me another example. Give me another example of a person.
It's people who smile like with half their with half their mouth is like, listen, or do you like this kind of stuff? It's just such the most self-indulgent thing ever. It's like everyone's looking at me talk. Like I get put. I want to punch myself in the face looking at my face do that.
It's a very punchable. Think about when you think of somebody has like a punchable face, and a lot of times it's due to the schmarminess of the way they talk. And it's
your mouth movements is the direct key to your psychology. That's something that we are very fortunate to have pointed out to us throughout life, is because it gives you a perfect exact read on somebody's psyche, the way that they move their mouth like that.
Well, also the result of this is sort of a schmarmy result. And this Tom and Marty's guy quote tweeted this. Horvat thinking he should be allowed to bring his own film crew aboard is simply the most myopically dumb stuff ever. Just think about it. 150 players, all with their own film crews, filming stupid content on their own, aside from rounds taking 6 hours. Who would want to watch this event? So Scott, what's your take on this? Obviously, this guy's a YouTuber. He's gotten pretty big in golf to the point where they invited him to come play on the tour. He's a good golfer, and a lot of people are always wondering how well would these YouTube golfers shape up on actual tour? And he got the opportunity, but denied to take it because of this film situation. What do you think?
Well, I think this is easy for him to say in the moment. First off, if you're being denied and you actually want to play, you would play and you'd be creative about how you create that content on the back end. This is just a ploy to get more views for him to bow out because he can't film. It's like, dude, who do you think you are? Like, I understand you built a company, call it, or a living off of doing this, but that doesn't mean that you get to enter into a new space. It's like going into another country and assuming that they still have the same rights of their homeland in that new country and acting like a fool. Like that's what this guy is doing, going into a PGA tournament and thinking he can just do status quo of what he does, at the Muni course or some other golf club, not in tournament. So this just frustrates me that there's this entitlement. Just because you have a following doesn't mean anything. You're entering into a whole new space, a whole new competition that has nothing to do with what you've built. And also, you may have been invited for that reason, but that doesn't mean that they should capitulate to you.
So there's going to be coverage of the event too. You're going to be able to get clips. You're going to be able to get broadcasts of it. The cameras are going to be following you around. Like it does just feel like sort of a half thought out excuse here. I wonder if he actually just doesn't want to, because like if he goes on this and plays in this tournament and does not perform well, I think it would hurt his YouTube brand as like this elite golfer. So I wonder if that also comes into play and this is just a convenient excuse to not participate. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can hide behind that defense too, for sure. If he was as elite as he is, he would be on tour and playing and competing already and not necessarily focusing strictly on YouTube. I mean, Bryson DeChambeau has a YouTube channel that's really popular and is doing both and doing it like respectfully to, some people can argue against that, but much more so than this guy and making a big fuss about it. If he wants to do this, I think the PGA Tour is not the one to go to and do this. It's clearly the LIV.
It's lit.
Go do that. It's available. It's there. You can wear shorts. You can do that and have fun. Right. Go do you don't need to. It's to my point. It's like people going into a different country, assuming that they have the same rights from their homeland in that other country and not respecting the traditions or laws in those other countries.
It's like I go to Germany and I don't speak German that well, and I fly my drone.
You steal one of their women.
Stuff like that, sort of stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm with you. It's very, very akin to that. I don't know, man. It's just also like, or even if it happens on LIV and then what? Like more guys do it. And then all of a sudden, what? You have 120 golfers on a tournament. And then each one of them has a personal film crew of 3 guys following them around. And it just then becomes sort of a circus. All right. So there we have it. He's getting pretty bashed on social media for that. We'll see if he ever ends up playing in a tour tournament. Okay. You guys want to do grab bag? Okay. We did grab bag. All right. It's only just one because I think this grab bag could be kind of long. Okay. Very, very fun. We did grab bag last episode with the robots and the jockeys. Very fun. Now we'll go grab bag here of professional athletes with hobbies that you would never expect. Okay. Okay. Nikola Jokic, horse racing. And as he famously said after one of the, I think it was after the NBA title, he said, yeah, I can just go back to Serbia now and be with my horses. This guy loves his horses. Respect that. It's a good hobby. James Johnson, MMA. All right. Pretty cool here.
Okay.
What does that mean? You taking a few classes or you're a belt?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a photo of him participating. Look at the bottom right there. He's in it. This one is so on brand to me. Tim Duncan, Dungeons and Dragons. Is that not just, yeah, of course Tim Duncan loves Dungeons and Dragons.
Do you guys want to play Dungeons and Dragons?
Just the most boring, quiet basketball player of all time. Yeah.
Personality.
Tim wants us to come over and play Dungeons and Dragons again.
Are you guys going to Tim's?
No.
We got to. I said no the last 3 times. We got to go play Dungeons and Dragons.
That's
a great game.
Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker just so sick of Tim Duncan having Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, here we go. Oh, Calvin Murphy, baton twirling.
Baton twirling.
That's actually we were talking about that. That was essentially an Olympic sport. Speaking of which, when I was flying back here, so this was like 14 hours ago at the Portland airport, there was a guy at our gate who had a bunch of like juggling balls, and he was juggling outside of our gate, and he had like these string juggling balls and was doing all these tricks and performances. It was very Portland, and it reminded me of baton twirling.
And he is now on the no-fly list.
Oh, believe me, I reported him. Let's see.
Wait, go back.
Okay.
This guy. Isn't it great when fathers get involved early and steer kids in the right direction?
Yeah, my dad.
His main passion, and his father handed him a basketball and saved him.
Yeah, that's true. He showed.
You can still have it as a hobby, but you're going to you play some basketball.
Play some basketball first.
He snapped that baton over his leg.
Roller skating for Rondo. All right, that's interesting. Comic book collecting from the Lopez twins. All right. Shaq DJing. Shaq does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I don't believe that Bosch is actually like
coding. I don't believe that. Really,
no shot, Chris Bosch. You're coding. What? No.
Yeah, that had to have been a marketing ploy.
That's a marketing.
As is this. Come on.
This is for sure. Somebody one time handed Kevin Durant a camera and he looked at it.
No shot. How does my photo look?
Kevin Durant has a hobby, and it's going on Twitter with burner accounts and trying to defend his own honor. That's his hobby.
Does he do that?
Paul, he's notorious for that. Even more so than basketball.
I got something Michael Scott would do.
Yes. Chris Paul bowling. Wonder what he bowls. Dirk guitar. All right.
That doesn't look natural.
All right. This also no shot. Blake Griffin stand-up comedy. Have you ever? No way. Maybe he hosted something once.
He's got some comedic chops, but
he does. He's creative.
I think it's like in the moment. It's not stand-up level.
Yeah, there's a way. Somebody probably wrote his jokes for him. Tony Parker, horse racing. All right. Jimmy Butler has a coffee business. Okay, sure.
That's diversifying.
That's diversifying. Kobe's actually, I believe this because
that one makes sense.
It makes sense.
Kobe's talented.
Kobe won an Oscar for producing a short animated film. This guy does
basketball or Dear Basketball.
Dear Basketball. Mark Gasol, gardening. That's a good one. I could believe that.
Yeah, that one makes sense.
Europeans, Pig farming. Jose Calderon. All right. Bringing home the bacon for us.
Yeah.
When people say pig farming, does that mean you're a bacon farmer?
Raise pigs.
You raise pigs, Mike.
Oh, you raise pigs for slaughter. Oh, that's what you do.
Jason Tatum. He actually wrote a children's book. That's pretty cool. And Carmelo Anthony, wine collecting. Okay. Any of these jump out to you? As we were all athletes, what would you say your off the field hobby was during your athletic career, or even now? What are your hobbies?
Piano?
Mike, yeah, piano. We have piano, Mike. We're pianists. Your hobby, Scott, was superheroes. Okay, you were a big superhero guy.
Yeah, I definitely was in high school, early college, but after phase 2, I was done with MCU.
Yeah, so. I know. But that would be.
You were a big superhero guy, so you did look up to these ideals of extreme personalities.
Oh, look, you got him, Mike. Walked him into a corner.
Yeah, I was enthralled with him, but that wasn't my main thing.
Who was your favorite superhero?
Like I didn't view them as like pseudo Greek or Roman gods and being like, oh, I need to be that Adonis.
Yeah, but they're cool.
I enjoy it.
Good to have. They're a good thing to have.
They're supposed to be
entertainment. They were the most entertaining element for sure.
Okay, you didn't answer my question. Who was your?
I also grew up, so I left that behind.
Okay.
Yeah, and the MCU universe makes $20 billion a year.
Yeah,
not anymore.
Scott, who was your favorite? I'm not letting this episode end until you tell us who your favorite superhero was.
Oh, my favorite superhero was Captain America, but then secondarily it was Wolverine.
Ah, Wolverine. Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Because he was so jacked? You were trying to get jacked like Wolverine?
No, it's because I started sprouting a lot of body hair around high school. And I was like, you know what? It's someone I could relate to a little bit. A little smaller stature, 6'1", not tiny like Wolverine, but hairy and smaller. That was my guy.
That's really funny.
I had my locker was next to Scott's in the locker room. I can attest to Scott's body hair. Okay.
Damn, dude.
What? Dude? It's not weird. We're the same team.
Hey, Nick, can you wax me?
Scott would always pop my shoulder pimples when I was going through.
Oh,
puberty.
dude, no, I did not pop them. I pointed them
Yes, you
out.
did. You did, dude. And it hurt me. It hurt. So
You gonna pop that?
that was Scott's hobby, popping his teammates' pimples on their back. All right.
Okay.
So there we have it.
My favorite
There we-
superheroes
Oh, sure,
are
Mike, go ahead.
Iron Man and Batman.
Oh,
Why?
here- why?
Because the best superpower is
relatable.
always and will always be money.
There we go.
Not their
according-
intelligence.
Just Scottie Scheffler. Okay. It's not going to make him happy. It's fleeting, isn't it? All right. There we have it, everybody. MLB All-Star Game, Home Run Derby, and a philosophical discussion on the nature of life and the fleetingness of happy moments in this existence.
Batman's motivation, he kept the main thing. He was motivated to become a man of justice because he lost his family.
True. See, Scott, it's still in there for you. You still got it in there. It's still in there. Don't try and hide it.
It's
All right,
so
everybody. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.